Day 84, Conquest and Judges, Joshua 10-11, Psalm 127. Let's begin. Joshua 10:11. When Adonizedek, the king of Jerusalem, had heard these things, specifically, that Joshua had seized Ai, and had overthrown it, for just as he had done to Jericho and its king, so did he do to Ai and its king, and that the Gibeonites had fled over to Israel, and were now their confederates. He was very afraid. For Gibeon was a great city, and was one of the royal cities, and was greater than the town of Ai, and all its warriors were very strong. Therefore, Adonizedek, the king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoam, the king of Hebron, and to Piram, the king of Jarmuth, and also to Japhia, the king of Lachish, and to Debir, the king of Eglon, saying, Ascend to me, and bring troops, so that we may fight against Gibeon. For it has fled over to Joshua and the sons of Israel. And so, having assembled, the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, together with their armies, went up and encamped around Gibeon, laying siege to it. But the inhabitants of the city of Gibeon, when it was besieged, sent to Joshua, who was then staying in the camp at Gilgal. And they said to him, May you not draw back your hands from helping your servants? Come quickly, and free us, and bring troops. For all the kings of the Amorites, who live in the mountains, have gathered together against us. And Joshua ascended from Gilgal, and the entire army of warriors with him, very strong men. And the Lord said to Joshua, You should not fear them, for I have delivered them into your hands. None of them will be able to withstand you. And so Joshua, ascending from Gilgal throughout the night, rushed upon them suddenly. And the Lord set them in disarray before the face of Israel. And he crushed them in a great defeat at Gibeon, and he pursued them along the way of the ascent to Beth-horon, and he struck them down, even as far as Azekah and Makkedah. And while they were fleeing from the sons of Israel, and were on the descent of Beth-horon, the Lord cast great stones from heaven upon them, as far as Azekah. And many more were killed by the hailstones, than were struck down by the swords of the sons of Israel. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day that he handed over the Amorite in the sight of the sons of Israel, and he said before them, O sun, you shall not move toward Gibeon. O moon, you shall not move toward the valley of Ajalon. And the sun and the moon stood still, until the people had avenged themselves of their enemies. Has this not been written in the book of the just? And so the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and it did not hurry to its rest for the space of one day. Never before and never after was there so long a day, as when the Lord obeyed the voice of a man, and fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, with all of Israel, into the camp of Gilgal. For the 5 kings had fled, and had hidden themselves in a cave, near the city of Makkedah. And it was reported to Joshua that the 5 kings had been found hidden in a cave, near the city of Makkedah. And he instructed his companions and said, Roll vast stones to the mouth of the cave, and station attentive men who will keep them closed. But as for you, do not stay here. Instead, pursue the enemies, and cut down the lattermost of those who are fleeing. You shall not permit those whom the Lord God has delivered into your hands to enter into the protection of their cities. Thus, the adversaries were struck down in a great defeat, and having been nearly consumed, even to utter annihilation, those who were able to escape from Israel entered into fortified cities. And the entire army returned to Joshua at Makkedah, where they were then encamped, in good health and in their full numbers. And no one dared to move his tongue against the sons of Israel. And Joshua instructed, saying, Open the mouth of the cave, and bring forward to me the 5 kings, who are hidden within it. And the ministers did just as they had been ordered. And they led out to him the 5 kings from the cave, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon. And when they had been led out to him, he called all the men of Israel, and he said to the leaders of the army who were with him, Go, and place your feet upon the necks of these kings. And when they had gone and had tread their feet upon the necks of those who were thrown down, he spoke to them again, Do not be afraid, and do not dread. Be strengthened and be steadfast. For so will the Lord do to all your enemies, against whom you fight. And Joshua struck them down and killed them, and he suspended them on 5 gallows. And they hung there until evening. And when the sun had set, he instructed his assistants that they should take them down from the gallows. And having been taken down, they cast them into the cave, where they had lain hidden, and they set vast stones at its mouth, which remain, even to the present. Also on the same day, Joshua seized Makkedah, and he struck it with the edge of the sword, and he put to death its king and all its inhabitants. He did not leave in it even the smallest remains. And he did to the king of Makkedah, just as he had done to the king of Jericho. Then he went on, with all of Israel, from Makkedah to Libnah, and he fought against it. And the Lord delivered it, with its king, into the hands of Israel. And they struck the city with the edge of the sword, and all its inhabitants. They did not leave in it any remains. And they did to the king of Libnah, just as they had done to the king of Jericho. From Libnah, with all of Israel, he went on to Lachish. And taking positions around it with his army, he besieged it. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hands of Israel, and he seized it on the following day, and he struck it with the edge of the sword, and every soul that was in it, just as he had done to Libnah. At that time, Horam, the king of Gezer, went up so that he might assist Lachish. And Joshua struck him with all his people, even unto utter annihilation. And he went on from Lachish to Eglon, and he surrounded it. And he also defeated it on the same day. And he struck all the souls that were in it with the edge of the sword, in accord with all that he had done to Lachish. He also ascended, with all of Israel, from Eglon into Hebron, and he fought against it. He seized it, and struck it with the edge of the sword, likewise with its king, and all the towns of that region, and all the souls that were staying in it. He did not leave any remains in it. Just as he had done to Eglon, so also did he do to Hebron, consuming with the sword all that he found within it. Returning from there to Debir, he seized it, and laid waste to it, likewise with its king. And all the surrounding towns he struck with the edge of the sword. He did not leave in it any remains. Just as he had done to Hebron and Libnah, and to their kings, so did he do to Debir and to its king. And so Joshua struck the entire land, the mountains, and the south, and the plains, and the descending slopes, with their kings. He did not leave in it any remains, but he put to death all that was able to breathe, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had instructed him. From Kadesh Barnea, as far as Gaza, with all the land of Goshen, as far as Gibeon. And all their kings and their regions, he seized and destroyed with a single attack. For the Lord, the God of Israel, fought on his behalf. And he returned, with all of Israel, to the place of the encampment at Gilgal. And when Jabin, the king of Hazor, had heard these things, he sent to Jobib, the king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Akshaph. Also to the kings of the north, who were living in the mountains, and in the plains opposite the southern region of Chinneroth, and also in the plains and the regions of Dor, beside the sea. Also to the Canaanites, from east to west, and to the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Jebusite in the mountains, also to the Hivite who was living at the base of Hermon, in the land of Mizpah. And they all went forth with their troops, a people exceedingly numerous, like the sand that is on the shore of the sea. And their horses and chariots were an immense multitude. And all these kings assembled at the waters of Merom, so that they might fight against Israel. And the Lord said to Joshua, You should not fear them. For tomorrow, at this same hour, I will deliver all these to be wounded in the sight of Israel. You will hamstring their horses, and you will burn their chariots with fire. And Joshua, and the entire army with him, came against them suddenly, at the waters of Merom, and they rushed upon them. And the Lord delivered them into the hands of Israel. And they struck them, and they pursued them as far as the great Sidon, and the waters of Misrephoth, and the field of Mizpeh, which is toward the eastern region. He struck them all, so that nothing was left of them to remain. And he did just as the Lord had instructed him. He hamstrung their horses, and he burned their chariots with fire. And turning back, he immediately seized Hazor. And he struck down its king with the sword. For Hazor, from antiquity, held the first position among all these kingdoms. And he struck down all the souls that were staying there. He did not leave in it any remains, but he destroyed everything unto utter annihilation, and he destroyed the city itself with fire. And he seized, struck, and destroyed all the surrounding cities and their kings, just as Moses, the servant of God, had instructed him. And except for the cities that were on hills and in elevated places, the rest Israel burned. One only, highly fortified Hazor, was consumed with fire. And the sons of Israel divided among themselves all the plunder of these cities, and the cattle, putting to death all persons. Just as the Lord had instructed his servant Moses, so did Moses instruct Joshua, and he fulfilled everything. He did not omit even one word out of all the commandments, which the Lord had commanded Moses. And so Joshua seized the entire land of the mountains, and of the south, and the land of Goshen, and the plains, and the western region, and the mountain of Israel, and its plains. As for the part of the mountain that ascends to Seir, as far as Baalgad, along the plain of Lebanon under Mount Hermon, all their kings he seized, struck down, and killed. For a long time, Joshua fought against these kings. There was not a city that delivered itself to the sons of Israel, except the Hivites who were living at Gibeon. For he seized it all in warfare. For it was the sentence of the Lord that their hearts would be hardened, and that they would fight against Israel and fall, and that they did not deserve any clemency, and that they should perish, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. In that time, Joshua went and put to death the Anakim from the mountains, from Hebron and Debir and Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah and Israel. And he destroyed their cities. He did not leave any from the stock of the Anakim in the land of the sons of Israel, except the cities of Gaza, and Gath, and Ashdod, which alone were left behind. Thus Joshua seized all the land, just as the Lord spoke to Moses, and he delivered it as a possession to the sons of Israel, according to their divisions and tribes. And the land rested from battles. Psalm 127. A Canticle in Steps. Blessed are all those who fear the Lord, who walk in his ways. For you will eat by the labors of your hands. Blessed are you, and it will be well with you. Your wife is like an abundant vine on the sides of your house. Your sons are like young olive trees surrounding your table. Behold, so will the man be blessed who fears the Lord. May the Lord bless you from Zion, and may you see the good things of Jerusalem all the days of your life. And may you see the sons of your sons. Peace be upon Israel.